Grief girls, grief girls.
Hi, welcome to Grief Girls, Tamara and Paula, broadcasting from Situate, Massachusetts. And today we are going to talk to you about two things that we think can sort of resonate with you and can also be perhaps a resource for people in your life that are trying to help you and support you through your grief. And it is episode 8, and we thought that was kind of unique because 8 is the sign of infinity. And it's all about the love that's never going to go away and the grief that's never going to go away. And we recognize that, and we need the people in our lives that care about us to realize that. We are going to forever carry this with us. Our husbands they're entrenched in who we are. They're in our hearts and our soul, and they're part of who we are moving forward. So with that, we wanted to talk to you about, say their name. We are living our lives without them, and we love when you say their name. We love when we bring them up, that you receive us speaking about them, and we love even more when you share stories with us about them. And we want to share some of our stories of things that people have said to us that really brought us to our knees with just really filling our hearts and helping us, kind of move through this grief in a better way. Because by hearing stories, by hearing their names, by hearing you talk about them, by allowing us to tell stories about them and listening and engaging with us, you're helping us move through this grief. And, if you're new in your grief or you're old in your grief, like we are, you'll, I think, resonate with what, with the stories that we're telling, and you have your own stories too. So, I guess we'll just start with telling some stories, Paula.
I was saying to Tam earlier that my son just was home to get married, and one of my dear friends, Leslie, who lives in California, was always a very good friend of my husband's.
Yeah.
And he met her through us, the family, and they were just really good buds. And I worked a lot. I taught during the day, and I always waitressed or bartended at night. And they used to come to a restaurant, Spazio in Quincy in Brayway. And it was a big joke that they were sitting at the bar party, and I was, serving them. So she was his other. I used to call Jeff Schmoopy. It was from the Seinfeld thing. It was a big joke because we can't stand people that call. This is probably offensive to people, but I can't stand anyone from New England calling their spouse babe. Makes me want to vomit. It's just not a New England thing. It's not something. We just don't do that. We call them whatever.
Honey.
I call him hey before I call him
honey.
Honey is fine, but
Mikey,
babe,
honey.
babe is so Southern. I don't know. It's nothing to do with wrong with the South either. It's just that's just me. It just makes me nuts. So we joked about it.
Okay.
Because Elaine and Jerry's were doing about the schmoopy thing. No, you're schmoopy. And then so we picked it up, and now it's a big joke, and then it gets shot into schmoop. So I was the only one that was allowed to call him that.
Okay.
But then.
And we know how Paula gets with her anger.
That's right. I'm a very jealous person. Still, the guy can't get a break. Even on the other side, there's no peace. So he allowed Leslie to call him Schmoopy. And he has another friend, Annie. Annie's probably listening. Annie's his bike girl. Okay. Jeff had many women.
Yeah.
He had his Leslie, his dinner partner, and then he had Annie, his bike girl, and then he had other people. He had Gail at work. That was his work girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you're not as bad as you make yourself out to be, Paula.
Well,
you were very.
I was guarded about it too. They only had so much time with him, and so the big thing with Leslie is that when she came home for the wedding, we were chatting, and she loves to talk about Jeff, and she reminds me of a lot of different stories, and I love to hear that. Nobody wants to talk about him. I feel like I'm at a family party, and I try to bring him up or say a toast to him or something. And people just get awkward and weird and quiet about it, and they don't want to talk about it. I feel like I'm always bringing up stories about him. But Leslie had reminded me, and this is something I really needed, because I just miss him so much, especially at the wedding, and we loved weddings. And she said, you just have to remember something, Pete, that he adored you. You didn't see him in the corner of the room, just looking at you, smiling, like, cheek to cheek, just like, that's my girl.
Yeah.
And
of course we want to hear these stories.
Oh,
like how
it
beautiful.
Just made my day.
He's in the corner. Paula's being her crazy self.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably
obnoxious.
Dancing and
I was.
and he's watching her, and he's just in adoration of just love. And that's
making very inappropriate comments as usual. And he just would be very quiet about this. And I just loved hearing it. I loved hearing all of it. And I
want to hear those love stories.
Yeah, and I wish people would bring me a story once in a while, or just call me up and say, hey, I was thinking about Jeff today. Remember he used to do this or did that. And
yeah, it's not just about stories about like how much he loved you or adored
Yeah,
you, but it's
just-
about what he did and what was a funny story or
with
just
you,
a
how was it
meaningful
with
story.
you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have that similar one where I was actually at Mike's reception after his funeral, and one of his best friends that he went to UNH with, his name is Paul, and he was a really good friend to me through like my life too. But I haven't really talked to him much in years, and he never got married or anything. But he and his girlfriend at the time kind of put Mike and I together, so that was like that connection there way back when. And anyway, he came up to me at the reception. He's like, Tam, I just want to share this story with you because I think it's going to mean a lot to you. And of course, I can't even wait to hear what he's going to say. And he said, I asked Mike one time, because he never married, like I said, he said, how did you know that Tam was the one? And Mike just kind of shrugged and said, I don't know, Paul. All I know is I love her more every single day. Yep. And he's like, that warmed me, like just filled me completely.
It keeps you going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I hold on to that because I know that, and that's what kind of helps us through their death in some ways. They know, like we know how much they loved us.
Yeah.
They know how much we loved them. So at least that, right? At least that, Paula.
Yeah, it's the closest thing we'll get to a hug these days from him.
Yeah.
You just reminded me, and I don't know if I can I say my dentist's name?
You could probably just say the first name or
Well, Dr. Mack. We'll call him Dr. Mack. He knew Jeff for years before.
Oh, if it's a good story, you could probably say the whole name.
His name's Peter McDonald. He's a great guy. He's a great dentist.
I just don't know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Oh,
Paula,
no. I'd warn you.
Actually, I think I know this story. Yeah.
So he's been telling me this story even when Jeff was here. That He said, I have to tell you. And he tells me, and I love that he tells me when I go, like twice a year, I go to the dentist. And he said, I just remember the day that he came in and he said to me, Peter, I found the one. And he's like, oh, what are you talking about? He said, no, I found the girl I'm going to marry. I found my soulmate. And he said, I have to tell you, Paula, he was one jerk before he came in here. He was miserable. He was I can say this. He was not a good match for his first wedding.
Unhealthy.
And everything about it was just wrong. And, he just was unhappy.
Yeah.
And he used to say to Peter, I would rather be alone than in bad company. I just want to wait and wait. And he came in one day and he said, I met the girl I'm going to marry, my real soulmate. And he said, you changed his life. Yeah. You changed his life. He goes, and Peter was funny. He said, I'm responsible for your twins, by the way, because I know we had Marty. And then he goes, oh, no, you got to have more. You got to have more. We went back and forth. I said, well, you never picked them up. You just invented them and then you left me with them, which I'm glad for so much every day. But it was so nice to go to the dentist and hear him talk about Jeff.
It's like such a beautiful thing, and
it validates it.
It totally does. I want to put my kids in a position, and myself too, to like hear all those stories, like things I don't even know about, like the story that Paul shared with me about his love for me. That's beautiful, of course. But I was telling Paula earlier, we sit down and talk sometimes before we do the podcast. But we went to our vacation was always on the vineyard every year, family vacation, and it ended up overlapping with two of Mike's best friends from high school, Scotty and Johnny, and their families. And it was always family vacation for us, but then it would be like sprinkled with time with them at the beach or cookout or dinner, whatever. And so that was super nice, and we kind of grew up doing that for every single summer for years. And after Mike passed, I was like, oh, I can't do the vineyard anymore. Too hard, right? Mm-hmm. And then we kind of tested it out. We went for like a little day trip one time, me and the kids, and then met up with Scotty and Johnny and their families at the beach. And then the next summer I booked a house. And what I really love about it, we're doing it again this summer. Mm-hmm. Last summer we couldn't do it. This summer we're doing it again. Is like, Scotty's been the friend. Like he's been Mike's friend. And there's a few of them, but he's been the one that checks in the most, you know. It's still like 4 years out, still like checking in and touching base, and it means so much to me. And anyway, so I want my kids to grow up hearing stories about Mike, and I want to hear the probably stories I don't know either. Like we love storytelling. We just love storytelling, and I know the story of like John Hannah, like when like Mike met him, and there's all these funny stories just that just like help you remember people and love people and that sort of thing. And so his wife Margaret, she'll be there too. And she loved Mike. They all grew up in Framingham together, and they just loved him. Mikey, they just tell me stories and we talk about him. And there's no like when I'm with them, Paula, I never have to worry about them being afraid to say his name. Yeah. Like they say his name all the time. We talk about him, and that just I want to be around people like Mike's family, like Mike's best friends, like my close friends that like knew Mike, like particularly them, because we can talk about it, and it just is so much easier to move through this, just knowing that these people loved him, and it's not an elephant in the room. We can talk about him. He's still there. He's still, and he's an essence around me. Like he's in my thoughts. He's in like your muscle memory, all that stuff. Your soul. Yeah, he's in your soul.
That's the soulmate. And then I mentioned Annie. Annie's was a biker, a cycler with him, and Annie sends me a text every now and then. I just thought of Jeff today. Blah blah. On his anniversary, she said, "I can't even tell you." She told me, and she's going through her own pain. She has her own issues going on. And she said she was driving the back roads of Norwell and Marshfield where they used to ride. Yeah. And she said, I just thought about how hard this hill was. And Jeff was always there waiting for me at the top of the hill. And if I didn't come right away, he'd come get me. Yeah. He always watched out for me, you know. And she said, as I'm thinking about this, and she's talking to her husband, Marky, who's in the car. I call him Marky. He's in the car. A cardinal went right by her and sat on the side of the fence going by. And in the meantime, my niece is in Texas on the same day, and she sends me a story. She always talks about Jeff too. Yeah. And she said, she gave me a video of a bird in Texas at the same time. I mean, these texts were within 2 minutes of each other.
There's something divine about that. There's no question.
And the warmth I got from somebody out there thinking about Jeff is like made my day. Yeah. My sister-in-law, Brenda, Jeff's sister, is Jeff in drag. I mean, she's like, she had the same likes, dislikes, and kind-hearted, and she's just very on the ball. And she, I'll say to her, God, I just miss this so much of that. She goes, that's why you have me. Yeah. Just little things like that.
That means so much.
That mean like I can get through this day.
Yeah. Yeah. The bird story reminds me, I had shared, so we've talked about the hawk, how Mike signs my family with the hawk. And so I was sharing the story. So one of Mike's best friends, and again, everybody consider Mike their best friend because that's the way he was. His name is Jack, and he lives in Marshfield. He built our house. He built our. Nice. He's just like been such a great friend, and he and Mike were super close. And he lives in our neighborhood. I love him and his wife Brenda. They're just been amazing to me. Mm-hmm. But I was sharing with them the Hawk story and how Mike's been signing the Hawk. They came to one of Christopher's football games. This is right after Mike had passed, and I was sharing the Hawk, story about him. And Jack called me, so that was on a Sunday. I think it was 2 days later. He's like, Tamara, you're never going to believe this. But he was working a job down the Cape, and he was down in there was a walkout basement, so there was sliding glass doors. And he said he was there, and this shadow kept going by. So he went out to investigate. This hawk was flying back and forth, and it perched on a tree that was 10 feet from him. And it was gigantic. And he opened the door, and that hawk was he was crying, telling me the story. Wow. He's like, that hawk was staring at me, Tamara. It was just staring at me. And he's like, I was waving at it. And he was almost freaking out, not really believing, how can this be true? Tamara's right. This hawk is meaningful. There's something going on here. But I love hearing that story. Yeah. I love any hawk story because that means people are listening to me. They know that resonates for me. They know that means so much for me and my kids. And it gives us the strength and the courage and all that. And the fact that Mike is showing up for them in that way warms my heart. Okay, Jack, his wife just told me he's had a really hard time. That breaks my heart. Yeah. Of course, it also makes me love him more. Yeah. That you cared so much about my husband that it breaks your heart. Okay, I get it.
Someone's thinking about him.
Yeah. Hi, it's Tamara and Paula from Grief Girls, reminding you that we have a grief and inspiration group here in Situate, Massachusetts at 344 Gannett Road every second Thursday of the month from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And we're here to support you through your grief journey from the loss of a spouse. And for more information, you can follow us on Instagram at griefgirls111 or Facebook at griefgirls. Yeah. We want that, right? We want their memory to keep living on in people's minds, in their words, in their actions, all of that.
And even we both have children, and all your children are different, and it's different with your children because you have to. Again, all your children are different. I have 3 different sons. They all have different ways of dealing with this, and you have to pick your spots. Right. And you try to talk to them about, some of my sons are easier to talk to and others aren't. So that's just their process, and it's something that they'll grow into or figure out eventually. But other than that, I would just like other people to bring him up. Right. Or just, if you thought of him today, just, send me a text that said this, or I found a picture of him, or... I send out a lot of stuff on Instagram, this popped up today, and I feel like I'm trying to keep him alive, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like people, do they think I'm crazy to keep putting stuff up there, but it makes me feel better to remind people of him.
Right. Don't forget about him.
And I know that they have lives, and we know this. This is granted. We already know all that,
Right.
but it's still,
You know,
this is
Paula,
what's
if it's-
happening
if
to
it-
us.
If it's important to you, it's fine. Like, you put it up for yourself. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
for anybody else. It's for you, and that's fine.
and I feel like I'm kind of honoring him and remembering
Yeah.
him. It's so hard I don't want him to just go away.
No. And that's why we reiterate, like, these stories are great. I was out for this, at the beach, of course, right? Out for a walk with my dog, and I ran into this girl, Susie, who was the wife of one of Mike's friends that he really liked a lot. And she said to me, Tamara, I was afraid. Like, she was afraid to share a story. She had a dream about it. Like, it was almost like a visitation from Mike.
Yeah.
And he was telling her, like, I'm okay. And so she told me this story. I wish I could remember the details to it. I was actually looking through my journal to see if I had written it down. I did not. But it was, like, so beautiful for her. And I started crying immediately. And she's like, I'm like, Susie, no, it's
crying's
okay.
not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Like, people need to understand, when you make us cry, that's love.
Yes.
Like, it's not because we're sad and mad that you told us
No.
the story about someone that we just miss with every ounce of our being.
It's like
No.
breathing. Crying is
Yeah.
like breathing now.
It's okay. And again, we cry and then we're fine, but whatever. So thank you, Susie, for sharing that story with me, because that filled me up that whole day.
Absolutely.
And I let my kids know the story. I wish I could remember it, but
I know. I
you know,
know.
it was a dream, and he was telling her he was okay. I can't remember the details, but that meant a lot to me.
Absolutely.
So I think, like, hopefully people just can, you know, think that through if you're listening to this podcast, because, you know, someone has lost someone that they love, and you're like, how do I help them?
And it could be random. I was in CVS one day, and Jeff's boss came in, who happens to be a neighbor also. And he said, you know, he asked about the boys, and he asked, you know, generally, you know, what have you been doing, things like that. And then he just said, and it made my day. He said, my God, we just miss him so much.
Yeah.
The office isn't the same without him. He really was very bright. He was unusual, and he was kind of like, we used to kid around, call him Rain Man every now and then. 'Cause he was just so detail oriented and he was so kind and so methodical, and he was, you know.
Yeah, we remember the alarms for changing the batteries.
Oh
on
yeah,
his phone.
please. I keep looking at the battery upstairs. I'm like, Jeff's just going, are you going to change the battery or what? Because he had a list on his computer about when things were due.
Yeah, I remember.
So we said, we just miss him so much.
Yeah.
He was the best guy.
Yeah.
Met a guy at the dump, and you know how in those days where you have to tell someone?
Oh yeah.
And there was a really nice guy at the dump that we used to see at baseball all the time. His name is Steve. Really very nice man. He lives over on the way over to Hanson side of town. And I had to tell him, and he was so upset.
Yeah.
And then I felt badly that I kind of ruined his day.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm so sorry I had to tell you. He goes, oh, no, it's not you. Because I'm just so sad about it. And I said, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He was really, he was like physically shaken by it.
it.
Because he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just so beautiful to
Yeah.
have people share their feelings.
And
with
that
us.
helps us with our grief. When no one talks about them,
Yeah.
and you feel awkward bringing them up in your own house, you feel shut down. You feel like an idiot. You
Yeah.
feel silly. You feel like, oh, you should be over this by now. But if someone says something nice about you, just like,
Yeah.
it just warms your heart.
With my family, I feel like we talk about Mike. Every night we sit down for dinner, Paula, and we pray. You know, and it's very similar prayer. We're praying for the gratitude with the gift of Mike, all that he gave us, and we go through that, and then we pray for people that we care about, and but just count our blessings. Like, I do that as a ritual, and one of my kids are like, Mom, I'm so hungry. We have friends who are like embarrassed maybe sometimes, but I do it.
Yeah.
And but I want to say, like, my family, like my mom will come to dinner. Like, we have a Sunday family dinner. My parents have always come to that, and you know, if
lucky.
if we're, I know.
You're so lucky.
I know.
I've been an orphan for so long.
I know.
It's awesome.
I am so. I mean, they're in their 80s and mid 80s, so I know it's like I need to really, really appreciate them, and I feel like I do. But my mom will come, and if we're making like steak tips and potatoes, like that was Mike's thing. Now Christopher does it, but she just makes recognition. And it's funny because some things she gave Mike credit to. I'm like, I was the one who prepared that, but he just grilled it. You know? Sometimes I give it to him, sometimes I take it back. But it's just like nice to have my mom always recognizing that. And I think my sister-in-law Lisa, like she lost her son Connor, passed when he was 7 years old.
So awful.
Awful, yeah. And that was another one of those stories with the hospital. We have all this gripes with the medical system,
Yes,
but
we do.
that was. She really knows how to bring up Mike because she knows. Like, she's been through it with Connor. She knows the importance. I think my whole family knows the importance of saying the name, because I saw, like, I witnessed like Lisa's reaction when I bring Connor up, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's so good with doing it to me, and my whole family. Like, I feel like everybody is. I mean, in my house with my kids, I'm always telling stories. I want my kids to always remember these stories, and I think, tell the story 10 times. That's okay too, because I already told you the story at the beach. I can't remember the details of Susie's story, but I think you need to hear those stories over and over and over again. And you know what? We're going to take that story and we're going to listen to it like it was the first time you told it. So if you have one story, just keep telling that story. It's okay.
Yeah. Do not be afraid.
Do not be afraid.
And if we cry, it's not because we're mad. It's just like breathing. Someone said to me something about how you doing or whatever. And I said, well, it hurts when I breathe in.
And it hurts when I breathe out.
When I breathe in. It's the only time it hurts.
It hurts when I'm awake. It hurts.
Yeah. When I'm sleeping, not sleeping. I mean, what do you get? Maybe an hour a day where they're not. I was saying to Tam that, of course we thought about them when they were here, but we also had life and this and moving. And when I was at work, I was totally indulged in work. And you get in the car and you call your spouse. But then now he's never not on my mind.
Yeah.
Never.
Right.
I mean, as many minutes of this day, that's even in my dreams.
Yeah.
Like I think I dreamed about him this week, but
I think I dreamed about Mike last night. Actually,
I can't remember what it was, but I felt that he was around.
I woke up. Shoot, I can't remember what it was, Paula. But you have that muscle memory too. Like I can feel, if I close my eyes, actually sitting right here, I can feel him hugging me.
Yeah,
I can feel his chest, his arms. I can feel my head like on him, like on his chest. I can feel that. Like I have that muscle memory, and that doesn't go away.
No,
like, they're embedded in us. They are. They're embedded in our essence. So
I believe that.
Yeah, and so I guess we have like 10 minutes before we get to the 30-minute mark. I'm thinking, I mentioned there's two things we kind of want to talk about. Are you ready to kind of move on to the next thing, Paula?
Sure. While you're talking, I thought of something about the soul that I had saved. So while you're talking, I'm just going to see if I can find it.
Okay.
It was so fitting about the fiber of your soul.
Yeah.
And how it's literally, they're in your
DNA. Almost, yeah.
They're in your DNA.
Yeah, they become part of you.
Absolutely.
That's why you start to look alike sometimes as you age. You look like your cat, you look like your dog, you look like your husband. Okay, so the other thing was like we think valuable for resonating with people who are in our situation going through this grief journey with us, and also people that are kind of watching from the sidelines. How can I support people? Is how do you support people with helping them through, especially that first year with all the things that need to get done. So showing up. Okay. So we talk about just coming and just sitting and being present and just listening. You don't have to do anything. You can just come and be. But we had so many people, not so many, I can't say, but I'm sure there's so many people that think, okay, I'm just going to reach out. Can I do anything? Like that's so common. Oh, what can I do? What can I help with? What can I do?
Call me anytime.
Call me anytime. These open-ended, like assertions of help that just go nowhere. So we're going to tell some stories of what people did that wasn't just the open-ended make myself feel better by an offer that I don't really know what to do. And I mean, I'm not going to begrudge people. Like maybe you have good intention, then you forget about it or whatever. But I'll tell a couple stories, and I'm sure Paula's got some stories to share too. But my college friends I'm going to start with them, were just absolutely amazing. So I'm thinking about like Betsy, Jen, and Wendy, for example. So I'll try to wrap it up quick. But Betsy, two of them live across the country in Colorado, Betsy and Jen. At different times, they both showed up at my house.
Wow.
Betsy early on, Jen a year later. And Betsy just saw like that I was so stressed about all the bills on my dining room table, all the healthcare stuff. And she asked me how she could help, and I told her, and she put everything into a binder. She made phone calls, handled all these things I just couldn't get to.
Stomach.
And also painful, Paula, when you have to call and say, well, my husband died, and then you cry for 10 minutes and you can't speak. And so she just handled all that. She put together my binder for me, so everything was organized. She called a handyman in because I had these things. My dishwasher kept falling out of its like compartment. It has like a wood panel. It kept falling out if it was overloaded, too heavy.
Yep.
And my trash can wouldn't close. It would whatever needed to be greased, I guess. And then the front panel was all wrecked, and I had an extra one downstairs because Mike had ordered extra whatever, and somehow I found that, and he came and did that, and she hired him for 2 hours, and he thought Betsy was the homeowner because she was like dealing with him, and it was just so funny because I'm like, Betsy, he thinks you're the owner, and she's like, I know, and I just appreciate it because I didn't have to deal with him. He was this cute little old man, and he just did everything, and so kind, and just took action, and Wendy was with us the whole time, and we just, it was just so beautiful to have two of my best friends are helping with that. And a year later, my friend Jen came, and then she taught me. She's like, we grabbed the oil can. She cleaned up my whole basement.
Wow.
My whole
That's
disastrous
priceless.
basement.
Wow.
Then she opened up, or she didn't even open up. She had a Facebook, like, whatever, marketplace, and she was selling stuff for me. She was just taking action, and she would help me make decisions. Tamara, sell or keep? And I'm like, I don't know. And she'd say, well, what was the last time you used it? And if it was over 3 years ago, she's like, sell
it.
She made me feel better about all of that. So she just was selling stuff. I think that's my phone. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't have Dasher today. Now I have my phone ringing.
That's it's very pleasant.
Not to have Dasher or to have my phone ringing.
Oh, well, no, I love Dash. He doesn't always love me, but I love him.
So that was just like so beautiful. So I was making a little bit extra pocket cash and getting rid, just really cleaning out my basement was just a beautiful thing to
Just have support.
have that support. I know, it was so awesome. And Wendy would just show up and just be there for me. And I mean, she could never leave without me crying. I never wanted Wendy to leave. I mean, she was local. She lives in Nahant, so not local, but she was an hour plus away on traffic. But she was always there for me too. I just so appreciated all three of them just kind of showing up.
So let's break that down. What they did is they gave you that support. So Mike was your support. Jeff was my support. I didn't worry about any of those things.
Right.
None of it.
Right.
And so to not have that person that you fall back on and just to take care of it.
Just do it.
They took care of everything.
I don't want to do it. I don't
don't want to do it.
I don't know what to tell you to do, but just do it.
Yeah.
They looked around. Tamara, what's that pile of stuff on your dining room table? Right? They looked around and they figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, just figure it out. Don't ask me. Don't come to my, don't just say, like, a text.
Because
like,
you don't know. You're out of your mind.
Know what
You're
you can
out of
do.
your mind. Everything's a blur.
I don't know.
You don't even know what day it is. You haven't slept in days. You haven't eaten.
No.
You can't explain it. And for them to just take over is what you need. You need relief.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that last night. Like, you know, what would you do if you ever saw them again? I don't know if I would just scream at them or just faint in relief.
Right.
You know, so that's.
And I don't want to be, I had so many people that just like that food support that they gave me. The
Oh,
food
that's
chain.
Amazing. Yeah.
I mean, that went on through February for me, like 3 days a week. Just people came out of the woodwork. So people found stuff to do if there was things like there. But I just think in general, like, if you really want to help somebody, like, don't ask what, just show up.
Yeah, well, that's why you're doing this. It's not to be critical of those that never, we all had a lot of help. But what we're trying to do is, when we're trying to get people to feel more comfortable around people that have lost their
There's suffering.
soulmates.
There's things you can do.
So that's why we're not out here today trying to just like, well, you didn't do this, you did that. We're giving you permission to do something for them or tell them a story and let them cry. Just let them cry. Now, you might be uncomfortable with that, but that's what we need.
Yeah. I had high school friends, so Pete Martin and his wife at the time, Monica, and I ended up working with her here, and over at the retreat property, Gulf River Island. And like, they just showed up. Like, Mike passed in September. They showed up in October with rakes and blowers and cleaned out my yard. The lacrosse team showed up and cleaned out my yard. Like, I just had these amazing, there's so many things. Like, I couldn't, I just was having a hard time saying yes. So I think it's important that we say yes, Paula.
Yes.
But I understand
Tutorial moment,
how hard
absolutely.
it is to say
it's
yes.
really
You
hard.
feel so like, no, I can get to it. No, I can do it. No, I don't want to put anybody out. So I understand that if you're like me and Paula, like, it's hard to say yes, but say yes if you just say yes.
Or don't take no for an answer. Just
Right.
say, you're not going to say yes, but I'm going to come over and do that. So I have similar stories. I've been very blessed. I had some financial issues. The burner, the oil tank, and family members just stepped up, which I was blown away. And, I was up nights thinking about how am I going to afford this? Because, that together is about $30,000 right there.
Yeah.
The month after Jeff passes or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
So that was amazing and so generous. And so didn't ask.
No.
They just did this.
They just
and, and my, they know who they are. So, and so that's that side of it, that people have been very generous about that. And then I have a landscaper in, can I say their name? Is it okay?
Yeah, I think
Smithers in East Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I think his name, I'm going to say Josh. He is the nicest guy in the world. They are the best landscapers but not just good at what they do, but he came, that November and they trimmed all my things, the big bushes, what do they call them? I can't think of them. Forsythia, which are pretty, but they're so invasive. He came and trimmed them all. He wouldn't take any money for it.
Yeah.
My oil guy said, just the maintenance. I don't want, he knew him from cycling.
Yeah.
The
I had a
maintenance.
plumber, like Sean Boney. I can't remember the name of his company. I'm sorry, Sean. But he showed up and he didn't charge me.
You're just so relieved
I
at that
know.
point because you're just so like, oh my God, what else is gonna happen?
Yeah.
Because I don't deal with any of this, and then, and again,
Yeah.
we're running households. Not to get like too mathematical here, but people say, well, why are you working so much? Well, because I have the same home,
Right.
the same children,
Yeah.
the same bills, the same debt that I had before,
Yeah.
and now I'm on.
And more because you have all the medical stuff right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
And what about the just now you're working on half the salary?
Right. Right. No, it's half the money, but it's also
Half the
all,
money.
all the extra. All the extra.
Oh, the
bills,
extra
right?
stuff, yeah. And I'm still fighting another thing in Social Security about him. So it's police. It just never ends. But my
Yeah.
point back to me is I've had really huge random acts of kindness that just
Blew you away.
you want to fall down and collapse. You're so
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had the financial help that was just like, oh my God, thank God. And and of course the food was amazing because
Yeah.
I had boys. I don't care if I don't eat peanut butter and jelly all day, but they kept coming.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it has to be, this is what I always say, I say this to my kids too. I said, if you're going to give it freely.
Right.
Do not give it with any ties attached.
No, just
Just-
let it feel good to give.
That's it.
Mhm.
Don't expect anything back because some people, there were some people that wanted to be entertained during that, week or month of,
No,
of that.
it's okay to just drop the food by the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, or come over and do a little wash or something, or go fold something, or, help with the yard or something like that, and just little things like that. But, so this topic that we're on is about, it's okay to tell people a story and let them cry.
Right.
It's okay to give them something and leave, throw it at the door and run.
Yeah.
It's okay to bring them up.
Yeah. Bring them up. And also it's so important. I'm thinking of so many people. I just like my friend Kristen and Susie. Like, I just thinking of just like them just being there for me when I'm in so much pain. Come over, Tamara, and they'd feed me. They'd give me like a cup of coffee and some
Warmth.
banana bread or something and some love. And I just let me talk and get it out. Like I can't, I'll never forget like what people did for me. Like
Right.
so kind.
Blessed. I mean, I have so many friends and so many family members. And like I said, I always kid around about Brenda, Jeff's sister, when I was right at the beginning and I'd be doing laundry or something. And I'd be talking, she goes, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. She goes, no, you're not.
Yeah.
We call her the Flash.
Yeah.
So she'd be over my house from Whitman in a flash.
Yeah.
And she'd say, let's go.
That's love.
It just reminds me of my mother-in-law, Babs. It's just the same, like, nope, let's
Yeah.
go. You're not doing
What
well.
was the story you told me earlier about? You said I miss Jeff so much. And what did she say
Oh, it
about?
was so funny. I said to her, she's very generous with me talking to her about Jeff and I did this and that. And then I said, gosh, I just miss him so much. And she goes, that's why you have me.
Right. That just fills me so
So I'm
beautiful.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
because they're twins.
Yeah. I have just one more story on just like my running friends because they have stepped up so big and I just have to share that. I think it's just a really beautiful story to share how friends have just like, been there too. And so I'm going to call them Gilly, Cindy, and Dave. And so they showed up. I was kind of afraid to like be away from my kids too much in the mornings. My kids were, I don't know if your kids went through this, Paul, but they were afraid when I would leave the house I was going to die. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
just really.
And why are
really-
you out after dark? And what are you
Yeah, all
doing? How
kinds
come
of
you're going
things.
out?
So my mornings are early. I had one lift, and so even Bruce, who trains us, like we do this lift thing on Wednesdays. Like they ended up, so just so I could be home for when the kids kind of woke up. He opened up shop for us at like 5:15 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning,
Amazing.
which is crazy. And then on Fridays, my friends, those three, met me at my house, and we would just run. And in the beginning, we just ran in silence. I couldn't talk,
Oh, yeah.
and they didn't ask me anything. They just let me be.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know how they knew. I honestly, like I tell them, like I cry when I tell them, like, thank you. I still tell them thank you for this because it meant so much to me. They show up at my house, so I don't have to be far from my kids, and we go for a 4-mile run, whatever, and they don't
So
expect
genuine.
anything. And then slowly I started talking. Like it was unbelievable how they just knew.
Yeah.
And Mike is also, Gilly, he's also like a mechanic and a fixer. So he's the guy, I'll have to tell the Christmas story again, but he showed up to help me with my Christmas tree, like just like teaching, and he's always teaching me.
Yeah.
Like he taught me how to, he taught me about my generator, my portable generator. He buys me the non, what's it called? The fuel that doesn't have the something in it. I can't think of it right now. That lets it last forever. Thingamajig. But he teaches a man to fish kind of thing. Feed him for a lifetime. And so I just appreciate, and Cindy, like even like when you're going through all the services, like, all the stuff we had to do to get ready for the services, like my friend Cindy showed up and she went shopping for Christopher. I'm like, I don't know what to get him. She brought home bagfuls of clothes for him to try on. Get the size right. Yep. I don't know. I just feel like I didn't know what to tell people to do, but they just did it. And I just have so appreciated that. And so if you're in our situation, just to kind of sum up again, like just try to say yes to people. If you need to give them a little bit of direction, do your best, but just say yes. And then if you're not in our situation, but you're helping someone in our situation, just do and just show up.
If it feels like it makes sense or something you'd want to do, then do it.
Yeah.
And do it freely.
Yeah, and do it freely.
Don't do it for kudos or I did this and I did that. I had a little bit of that.
Okay.
Which was really hard to stomach. And and again, I was thinking about you the other day because I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're talking about getting ready for our meeting last night, and I was thinking about new people coming, and I just I feel so badly for people that are brand new on our journey. It's just so dark. It's awful. Yeah. It's awful. And just to plug our monthly meeting, we had one last night. And we had 4 lovely ladies come brand new, just kind of found us through
social media, which is crazy, and also through just the Channel 5 episode.
Channel 5 with Maria Stefanos. And they, it was, as we always say, we hate to meet you. Right. But they were amazing. And they told Sybil, we're all in the same boat. It's a club you can't, only one way in and no way out.
Yeah. Yep. So. And I just feel like it feels good to be here. And we hope we can keep this space.
Right.
Because we're hoping we can keep this space. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
But thank you all for listening. Thank you for letting us go over our time. I hope you stay with us all the way through. And if you're supporting someone who has lost the love of their lives, we hope that we have given you some ideas of things that you can maybe do to help.
Hope it helps.
I don't know why God always takes the good ones first. And man, I've tried to be strong and carry on, but damn, this hurts. And I just wish that I could talk to you again somehow, some way. Even if it's for a moment, so I can hear you say, don't cry for me, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. I know they say, just give it a little time, you'll be okay. That might be true. It don't really help me today. And we ain't supposed to question the man upstairs, but there's just so much I don't understand. It just don't seem fair. Don't cry for me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the just beat you there. And as each day goes by, I get a little bit stronger, but that don't stop me from wishing you were here a little bit longer. When I think of you, like I know you'd want me to, and I know you're watching over me in everything I do, and all those things I never got to say, well, I'll send them with this prayer. Then look up, wipe my tears and raise my beer. And I'll see you there.